All right. And then this guy right here, it's called a hive tool. Aptly named. So I have 2 hives, but I'm only using 1 right now. And the reason for that is that because I'm literally a backyard beekeeper, if this hive survives the winter, there's a process that you go through to split the hive into 2.
Got it.
And I'll basically take several of the frames from the bottom and I'll move it over to this hive and I'll introduce a new queen over here. And then when that queen starts to lay eggs, the bees from this original hive will actually go back to their original hive. And then the new eggs that hatch in this hive will know that this is their colony.
Crazy. Crazy.
That's how that goes, yeah. So, anyway, let's give it a rip and see what we got going on in here. Just best to stand off to the side.
What side?
Either of the
Okay.
2 sides.
Oh, sure.
Just because they enter the.
Got it.
They enter from the front.
Sure.
And I can tell already that we have some really interesting stuff happening. You can see they've already built a ton of comb up near the top. So, and I put this on 2 weeks ago. So whatever we see here, see like that kind of pissed them off right there. You could hear them.
They're not that mad.
Nope, not too bad. Yeah, they're pretty calm today. So, awesome. All right, well.
So you just put the smoke over here, or do you need it later? Or?
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna do that now actually. So I'm gonna take out like this frame right here.
okay.
So basically you just kind of do that and they'll go down and in. So I just cleared them off. And now I have access to go ahead and get the hive. Here we go. Just kind of got to loosen it up. Everything, I feel like if you just sort of go slow, sort of the opposite of CrossFit, take your time and
Ooh,
see what we got going on in here.
that's cool.
Okay, so you can see if you look off, I'm gonna try to hold on to it with one hand. You can see that I'll have some larvae right here. That is, and then this capped area are larvae that's been capped, and then in a bit they'll hatch, and this is how the colony is procreating. You can see pollen stores are above that.
Yeah.
The yellow in the middle of the frame, the yellow.
Oh, no way.
And then this stuff on the right, or towards the top, that's all honey that they've
capped that off.
capped
too?
that off,
Oh
and
my
that will
gosh.
become what we consume here in a number of years. Yeah. So here's the other.
Okay. Oh, so they don't even have to make their little. It's just plastic kind of deal.
Nope, they made that comb.
Oh, they made this thing.
They made all that comb.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
I'll show you an empty frame here.
Wow.
So I'll get another one out. You put one frame up next to the.
How many do you have to pull out to check out?
You can do whatever you want.
Hmm.
We'll do a few. Here, I'll show you an empty one. So this is what the frames look like when you buy them from the distributor. They're just empty,
Okay.
and the bees build up that comb.
Oh wow.
Wow, that's amazing. They've drawn a ton of comb. Like you can see how much more
Oh no way.
that they're doing on the bottom here, and then they've already
Jeez.
put a ton of honey in there. So that's interesting. All right, let's get this. This is gonna be a fairly heavy one.
Looks like it's kind of a full house.
It's getting there. Yeah, we may have to put up another frame. All right.
Wow.
Okay, so here's some more interesting stuff. This stuff that's going on down here, you see these larger, they look like popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's called a drone. And the rest of these are worker bees. All they're doing is laying eggs, getting pollen. The drones they have a singular purpose in life, and that is to hatch and mate. They will literally take a single flight. They will go try to find a queen. They will mate and they will die.
Wow.
And that's the end of that.
These guys are like eating or something or working?
They're building honeycomb.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know what they're into something over there.
They really don't care. You just took out their honey.
No, they're just super busy.
Yeah.
And again, I'm looking to see if there's any deformities taking shape within the bees. These all look super healthy, which is telling me that I don't have an issue with mites right now. And you can see even more larvae this is super good. Now, that is an interesting situation there. Those are all larvae. You can see they're hatching.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. I have to study that. So I don't know what that's going on
They
there.
just kind of made their own thing, huh?
Yeah, which they'll do.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's, and you want to also, like, you want to keep your frame order consistent. Like, when I put this back, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to, like, mix the two frames. So I have to remember to push that this direction because I got that other frame down here. Here, how about this? I'll lift this out. You hold it.
Sure.
Just go ahead and grab onto it. You got a hold of it?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that bad boy is super busy. What do we got? I'm gonna kind of look over your shoulder.
Sure.
Yeah, that's just basically all capped bees, and give that another week and those will be all out of there and they'll restart the process. So, you know, I had like 500 bees when I first bought this colony.
Wow.
When I hived it 6 weeks ago, and I bet you we're at like 20,000 right now, and it'll cap out at like 50,000 in the middle of the summer.
Well, every time I see a honeybee, I'm like, oh, a honeybee. Like I don't see them a lot.
Yeah.
But I just always think that they're like the best bee.
They're cool.
You know, even though everything else does its job.
I'm gonna look at one more, and I really think that I am already gonna have to go ahead and add another deep next week. So I've got one basically empty frame over here that we saw. This is looking pretty light. Although they're getting after it, man. Look at that. Okay, here. So now you can kind of see how the honey's getting formed. Up here, it's nectar right now. It hasn't been dehydrated enough by them. So this is like an early stage of a honeycomb frame. They're building it. They're building the comb. They are putting the nectar in there. And over time, they will dry it out to exactly what they want. Yep.
Just face down.
Face down, doing its thing. And then they'll cap it.
Crazy.
And then this is the end of the brood. You can kind of tell how that is all yellow. And here you see the brownish, orangish kind of color. So if you can envision like an egg-shaped sphere in there, okay? Like this section through, like all through here, is that orangish brown color. That's where all the bees are procreating, laying the eggs. On the edges are all honeycomb. Now, when I put the new deep in there next week, that third deep, this third box with 10 frames, it'll be 100% honeycomb.
Really?
And they'll use that to live for the winter.
Got it.
If I'm fortunate enough to get them to go beyond that this summer, which this is an amazing amount of progress, so I might be able to, I could harvest that fourth frame.
Okay.
Or that fourth deep. So we've got, man, I'm impressed. They built all of that over the last 2 weeks. This was empty.
Jeez.
Yep.
When do you harvest honey?
You can do it either in the fall, like August-ish time frame, or you do it in the spring like I did this year. I did it in the spring this year because when I went and checked the bees,
Got it.
they were all dead. They didn't survive the winter. Okay, so I'm very softly, gently making space. You want to make darn sure that you don't kill the queen, right?
Yeah. You haven't seen
you-
her, right?
No, we have not seen
Yeah,
the
because
queen.
she's just bigger. I guess.
So now the bees have kind of bearded over here. They call this bearding, where they congregate on the exterior of the of the hive like that. All right, guys. So very slowly, like very slowly, I'm going to reintroduce this frame. I feel a bee right next to my face, not happy with me. It's like, what are you doing? Okay. Alright, so I've got some issues here. I don't have quite enough space. I gotta slow. Now I gotta get that in there. Oop. It's amazing. Yep, I got him excited there. Yeah. So, if I want, I can go and do a smoke again, get them off the top, and I will force them down in there so that when I put the cover on, I don't have to kill anything. Yep, so I got small entrance. Oops, I think that one of them got there. Got a small entrance here. They got their hole. They got a small one there. When I put the third deep on, I'll also give them another entrance right there,
Oh, okay.
and they'll do a good job of defending their territory. So, very happy with that. They're doing great. And I'll put another deep on there next week. Oh, that's beekeeping.
That was easy.
It takes like 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so I don't know, we can kind of get down close and stare at this. Like every now and then you'll see, like this guy right here, he has a ton of pollen on his hind
Oh yeah.
legs. So you'll see him, like that one that just went in there.
Mm-hmm.
They are just super busy.
Oh, I saw that
Another
guy,
one goes
yeah.
in there. They're
Yeah.
super stacked up, and that's just food. And they're just the bees can fly about 2 miles around this hive to collect the pollen. So they're just busy pollinating everything that they see and can get a hold of around here.
Well, I didn't get stung.
No,
So,
we made it.
doesn't matter.